What's up, everyone? Zach here. This is Ask Hatch Questions. We got a ton of questions today, and I'm super stoked to be answering to you. First one comes up from our photographer today. It's Reels TV's own Kobe Du Bois. When your local area doesn't support you, where do you go? So I already answered this on Facebook, but I said your local community probably does want you. You're just not going to the right people. So what you need to do is target the right people, figure out who that is, and then go talk to them. Or if it really isn't working in your community, then find a community that is filled with the people that you want to serve and go work with them. But it's likely that your community does want you, you just haven't found the right people in that community yet. Brandy Holloway of Clone Sierras says, how do I create a trust factor to gain clients? The best way to gain trust is to start a relationship with someone, give them the service that you can, and then they'll start, respecting you and trusting you as well. So if you're saying that the trust is in other people that come to your site, they don't know that you're a trusted source, there's several things that you can do to try and amp that up and make it better. Go and talk to the people that you used to work with and get a testimony out of them. You can also get video of doing the service that you do and use that on your website. The one other thing that I would do is to give away your service for free to start, right? Maybe the first time or at some sort of discount. If you're doing something that's very difficult, so Uber used to have this issue, oh, I'm just gonna get into a stranger's car, or renting a house with Airbnb. They all had these issues, but they got through them because they allowed people to start using it, and then they started using other people's clout to kind of sell the story. So if you have any customers, Brandy, that other people might know, leverage their trust factor in others to help you down that path. Adam Best says, how would you split advertising funds between social media and hard copy ads? What percentage? So Adam, what I would tell you is look at your data, right? So do small tests first and see which ones work. If social media for you is 100 and the hard copy ads are 0, then go 100 to 0. Try and do the smallest test that you can of each. What can be hard though with newspaper ads and magazine ads is unless you have strong call to actions in there, it can be difficult sometimes to figure out exactly who and what is coming to you. So I recommend, if you're going to do some sort of call to action in the ad, which I would recommend you doing, have something in there that's trackable. So instead of just going to your site 123.com, have them go to 123.com / wherever that medium is. So if it's Inside Business or Business Insider, so you go 1234.com / Business Insider, so then the people that go there can do that. You could also do a tracking code, like a coupon code that's specific towards that ad. On Facebook, you could, or any other social media, just use like a bit.ly link or a URL shortener and use that to see who's actually going there and tracking. But the key here is I don't know the answer, right? So for me, it might be one thing. For you, it might be a different thing. For us, typically, we do a lot of our stuff on Facebook because it's what converts best for us. For you, it might be Twitter, it might be LinkedIn, it might be Instagram when they come out with ads. It may be magazine or kind of your typical newspaper ads. I don't know. Try and do small batches and test them out and see which one works for you. The best way to know what percentage of anything you should do is when you use data to tell you the answer, because then you're not making assumptions, then you're not hoping that something is the way that you want it to be. You're doing it the way that data is telling you to do it, and data doesn't lie. Charles Montgomery says, when a bank doesn't loan you money for an awesome business plan in a booming craft beer industry for a bottle shop growler fill station, hint hint, the hot box, where do you find investors to help find, or where do you find investors to help fund a very profitable business idea that is wanted and needed for so many different areas in Hampton Roads of Virginia? Okay, so number one I would say is, why do you think that it's a booming industry that people want it to? You've never opened this business, so how do you know that it's going to work, right? So banks aren't in the business of taking risk. So the reason the bank didn't give you the money is because you're a startup, and banks don't like to mess with startups because they're risky. Banks don't like to take risk. So what you can do is a couple of things. I think I've seen that you've tried doing a crowdfunding campaign. You can go reach out to a couple of friends and see if they'll help you raise some money. You can get creative and try and do a smaller place with not a lot of build out. Ask for some negotiations on the lease. You could start kind of a beer business blog and start driving traffic that way. Maybe you can find a business model that isn't just dedicated to people in one specific area, but find ways to send it out as well. The Wall Street Journal has a wine club. There's something called Club W. I'm sure there's a beer club as well. If you can make that brick and mortar store attractive to other people so that your business model is in other places too, that you can then have a shipping company out of it and ship beers to other places, that might be more lucrative to people to actually help you fund it as well, so that when you go on those Kickstarters, the Indiegogos, the crowdfunding campaigns, or go back to a bank and say, I need this much money to do this, you can do that. Also, do you have any personal credit? You know, your personal credit cards. I know a lot of people are afraid of this, but at times you have to put in your personal money to do those things. And so if you have $20,000 worth of space on a credit card, maybe use that to get into a building, start some build out, maybe give up some ownership to do things like that. You got to get creative with this. And so instead of having, you know, the year 3 plan in year 1, maybe get, you know, just a little bit done, start building some momentum up, start building some content around the beers, and start showcasing that. Maybe you do a video podcast where you start telling people about the different beers that are out there. You actually physically get on camera, just like this, sip the beer, tell us what it tastes like, what it smells like, kind of the aromas, all that stuff. Maybe you do something like that. You know, it's just getting creative and getting people involved, so then when you do the crowdfunding stuff, you have a better culture to do it. 2 more questions. Alan Branch asked why. My response is always, why not? The reason I have that question or answer that way is because I heard that someone in a psychology class, the professor, said why is the question, and the answer was why not. So I went with it. And finally, Juliet of Nofo Soap says, how do I communicate with the business when calls go to voicemail and emails are ignored? It's not because they are not interested, but because they get so many emails already. So is it okay to just walk in the door and hope to catch the owner? I think it's a case-by-case basis in that case. Can you walk in the door? Absolutely. Another thing that you might want to be worried about is, can you just make the soap and give it to them? Since they are so busy, you know, what is your end goal? Is it just to make the soap and give it to them? Or is it to make the soap and do something else with it? You know, so really understand what your end goal is. Is it just to get a meeting with them? Or is it deeper than that? And I think it's really important to know exactly what your end goal is, so that when you are ready to, you know, pitch whatever that is, that they are ready for it as well. So backing up from that, Juliet, why do you want to talk to them? Is it to get soap in their thing, or is it to just tell them that you're there? Or is it something different? So can you take that soap, buy the beer, so you make beer soap, so get one of the beers, start making the soap, and then maybe send them a package of that, which is your end goal potentially anyway, so that you do it and then you send it to them. That's a lot easier way to get in front of someone when you have something, instead of them just getting another call or just another email. Give them something that looks different. So go ahead and do all the upfront work there and send it to them. They're more likely to be receptive to what you want as well. So thank you guys so much for all those questions. Looking forward to more questions from you. If you guys have more questions, all you have to do is simply comment below and ask away, and you have the chance to get on this awesome Ask Hatch questions. So thank you guys for your questions. If you guys have more questions, all you have to do is comment below or send me an email, Zach@startwithhatch.com. Thanks, Kobe, for recording. We'll see you guys soon.